YouTube, how you guys doing today? So in today's video we're going to be going over fashioning your warframes and tips and tricks and ways to make your warframes look hecka cool. So before we get into that, this background right here, this arsenal that I have, if you guys want to set up an arsenal like this, I have a video on it. It's this video that's on screen right now. You guys can find it on my channel. But there's a reason why all these are where they are. They do a lot of different things. But it'll help you kind of have like a cool background like this. And it doesn't have to be Bob's. It could be whatever you want it to be. Literally change it to anything you feel like it. But for fashioning your warframes, so first and foremost, we're going to pick a frame. I'm going to go with Mesa because I think Mesa looks really cool. And I think we can fashion her pretty decently. So every frame isn't necessarily going to look good with the same kind of style. As far as the colors that you choose, but we're going to kind of start it off like this. Let's say we're going to pick, we'll go with the edgelord look. I'll just wipe this. So wipe clean. The very first thing that I recommend you guys do is turn your warframe into a canvas. And the reason why you want to do this is because you're eventually going to want to start checking each of these colors and seeing what every one of them do individually. So accents. Usually accents take up the least amount of surface area on your warframe, which I, as a tip, recommend. That's where you use your brightest colors. Because if I were to take Mesa, and typically primary covers a lot of surface area, sometimes secondary, this is covering a lot. If I were to put this as a really bright color, this is just very in your face. It's very, like it's pretty, it looks nice, like it's not bad, but it's very, very bright and sometimes blinding. So ideally, when you guys are picking your brightest colors, like if you have an idea as to what you want that bright color to be, put it on the accent somewhere, because typically that will make it look best. So I'm just going to go use Classic Saturated, which of all the color palettes in the beginning, if you guys are going to buy a color palette from the in-game market and you're like, hey, what do you recommend? Classic Saturated is the #1 that I recommend, because and there's a difference here. Is regular. Look at the colors here on the screen. I'm going to go to Classic. They're kind of damp, like they look worn, and they're not as bright, they're not saturated. So I recommend the Classic Saturated because it's prettier, the colors are cleaner. But if you want more of, like, if you want your warframes to have a worn and torn look and you're going for a little bit dirtier of a thing and that's just the style you want to go with, then you can go with regular Classic. But either one of these I recommend because there's such a variety of different colors in here, whereas like this one is just basically all blues. Like this is a whole lot of red mostly, and maybe some pink and whites. But like if we go to the Classic here, you got reds, pinks, blues, light blues, greens, yellows, oranges. And then we get in a little bit of whites over here, some grays. Like there's such a larger variety of colors to choose from. So this is the first one I'd recommend. But we're gonna pick a bright color here, just for the sake of you seeing that it's not really getting like overwhelmingly, I don't know, in your face kind of a thing. And the next thing we wanna do is we wanna see like where all these, what colors are doing what, like what's changing on the frame. So right here, based on, and usually when you make up frames, you want to think about the amount of surface area that these frames are taking up, like the color slots. How much surface area are we getting this black color or this gray color in our faces right now? And if we don't like it there, or we want to change the location, maybe we think we can do something cool with it. Like this, based off the location, I think we make a much better dark color here. So already I've adjusted 2 things and already the frame is looking pretty cool. Like even this by itself, we could just roll with this. But if we want to go like check out the tertiary, see what that does. Maybe I want to change some colors around here. Let's say here's a poppy look. It's a cotton candy look in Warframe. So maybe I want to add some blues right here and we'll make a cotton candy look kind of thing going on. So I'll pick this blue right here and boom. We have a pretty Mesa with cotton candy look. The next thing we're going over though, and this isn't just, you know, like, obviously, cotton candy look is a popular look. You guys can do this, what you want. I'm just using this as an example for this video. The energy colors and the emissive colors, which by the way, when you put a forma on your warframe, that's when you unlock the second energy color. So I realize a lot of people don't know that. So now you know. When you put a forma on your warframe, you'll wind up unlocking the second slot for energy color. So energy color and emissive, these are kind of just do whatever you want with these. I don't really see anything changing on that. So if I come here, I'm not really seeing anything changing on this either. I don't know how obvious I have to make this. Yeah, I don't know. We'll get back to that later. Let's not worry about it. We'll go to attachments. So let's wipe those, put those on plain. So when it comes to attachments and stuff, ideally, you got to think about what the attachment's doing, right? Like, let's look at Mesa and her build, like her actual physical body build right here. So she kind of has a little bit broad shoulders. Having this kind of cosmetic on it, I like because it hugs the shoulders. It kind of works well. It's not like it's overlapping. Like if I were to pick, where is it? It was one of those Nightwave ones. Like the, oh my God, where is it? Just show up here so I can get through this. It's, some of these cosmetics are really, oh, that's why, because it's not here. It's going to be here on the shoulder plates. This, like this. If you go with this, it's totally like rounding out her shoulders. It's making her look like a football player, and that's fine. For some frames, you might want to do that. It doesn't even look half bad on Mesa either. But you just kind of want to consider, like, what is a cosmetic actually doing to your frame and how is it making the overall frame look? Like, don't just focus on this one area when you do it. Focus on everything. So if I go back to this, it's nice. It hugs it. It takes up the space on it. It stands out just a little bit. And it just totally works. So that's a decent one. This one, it's a little bulgy. It kind of makes her shoulders more squared, like as if she's wearing a suit, going to a wedding or whatever. You know, stuff like this. This hugs a little bit, kind of like this one does too. It super depends on how it is, like whatever it is you want to do. For something like the Heartwood, this kind of has an infested look to it. So if I had a frame that was a little more infested, maybe I'd want to use this on that frame. Or even this. This would look better on like an infested frame because it has an infested look to it. So it would kind of go with the way that the frame looks. So for Mesa over here, we really, like if you look at her straps, the way that she's designed, like just the way they pieced her together, there's very few things you want to put on her. This would be good on Hydroid. This actually came with, I believe, Hydroid Prime Access, because Hydroid has a lot of these little flaps on him where they just kind of like move around like that. But basically, you're looking for something that works with the frame, that you think actually helps make it look better versus kind of distracts people from looking at the frame. Like, you don't necessarily want attachments that are, yo, look at my attachments, but then everybody doesn't even notice your frame because the attachments are so in their face. So ideally, you're really just trying to pick stuff that kind of goes with that. Like whatever it is, the frame that you have on. So we'll stick with that. For the chest plates, same kind of thing. You want to turn your frames too, because like this is going to protrude, that's going to protrude. Like it's just sticking out. This is nice and flat though, so that'd look okay. If we go with, let's see, this is, I think, a little bulky, but not so much. That somewhat works. I wouldn't put this on Mesa. This is really bulky in your face. Like this, you know what this looks like? She's like Wilson from Home Improvement. She's covering the lower half of her face. Like, hey neighbor, kind of a thing going on. But really, make sure you guys are spinning and checking your frames out, because people are going to see them from all different angles, and you will get complimented on your frames when you guys can piece together a good looking frame. So I can put this on too. This still kind of works with what we have. I typically, when I make my frames, if the frame has like clear cut boobage, I typically try to not cover that, because I was born a straight male, not by choice, but it is what it is. So it's just something that I prefer, and it's just what I would like to see. So I try generally not to cover that sort of stuff. And same thing with like the back of the frame too. Like if we go to Syandanas, and you guys are trying to pick a Syandana that goes with the frame, if you want to see like some butt action, then just don't cover the butt. Pick like a small Syandana or something like that. Something, you know, like maybe isn't as evasive. You can still get a glimpse of it here and there. A little bit of a tease, like a burlesque thing, you know?
Sup, shawty?
But like really, again, it's totally up to you. And same thing applies with like, if we find an infested looking Syandana, that would look better on an infested frame. This Rapala Syandana that I have, by the way, is by far my favorite Syandana. It is a 10-gen, so it will cost you real money unless you're on console, then you can use Platinum to get it. But this probably best Syandana in the game. Well, for me anyway, it's my absolute favorite. But we can pick something like this. This works with Mesa because it's a bunch of lines. And if we look with her straps, the straps are basically lines. This white spots on her legs, these are turning into lines. Like, so the Syandana like this kind of works. Like, it just goes along with it. Now, here's another food for thought. Now that we have the attachments on, we have the Syandana on, So how do we go about coloring these? Which I wish that didn't change because I don't remember what, here it is. All right, so now how do we go about coloring these things? What we want to keep in mind is one of two things. Either A, we can copy the colors so that it just kind of does this, but if we do that, it kind of blends in really hard and it looks like it's just a part of the frame, and now it's really hard to tell like that you even have attachments on because you're just using the same colors. But what we can do is, let's say we had pink, light blue, and maybe I was like, you know what? I really want to see some dark purples on this frame. Well, I can put the dark purples somewhere on the attachments to help them stand out. Similar, I don't want to put it there though, because like the accents are usually where you want the brightest colors. So let's go to the white here, and then I could start messing around with the purples here. So I'll put like purples here, and now this will stand out a little bit better, right? This frame's starting to look pretty girly, but you know what? Mace is a woman's woman, if you know what I'm talking about. So it totally works. But let's pick another bright color here. Let's pretend I wanted to get crazy with it, which I don't, but that's what, here we go. We'll go with red. Red kind of works a little bit. Maybe tone it down a bit. So I'll put maybe a medium bright red on here to kind of balance the color out. Because again, another food for thought, if I make it too bright, it's just distracting. You know, like if, like I already have my brightest color as the pink, so I don't want to do that. I'm going to put, if I put this bright red here, and basically everybody's just going to be noticing the attachments and they're going to kind of like not see the pink. It's too overpowering is what I'm getting at. So I'm going to tone it down a little bit, and now it's a little bit more in blendy mode. So now it's kind of like, it's there, but it's not the most noticeable thing about her. It kind of being spaced out nice, it blends in there. So we'll kind of leave that. And then for the syandana, we're really kind of copying the same sort of look. So I can copy attachment colors here and see what that does. And that doesn't look too bad. I don't know if I necessarily want the pink there. Let's try copy main colors. And that just changes that. So we got to find that. Whatever that is. It's probably a color here. I don't know why nothing is changing. On everything I'm touching energy colors on. All right, DE, your game's broken. You got to fix it. I don't know what in the world. What? I'm on syandana, right? Yeah, I'm on syandana. Why won't this change? It's like stuck white. Like, what's up with that? There it is. That's the color. You know what? I found the problem. There's a nut loose between the keyboard and the chair. All right, so, all right, here we go. Maybe make this purple, make it blue, whatever you feel like doing. Either way, you just kind of want it all to like come together in a way where nothing is overpowering anything else, and it really just kind of makes sense. Now you got like a pretty looking frame just by those simple concepts that I gave you guys to work with. So you don't have to like really worry too much about like, does my frame look good? Does it not look good? Just ideally you can start off making everything white or even everything black, and then you one by one just see what colors change on what. And what you want to notice is what's more what makes it overpowering. Bright colors help make it really overpowering, so typically you put them on accents or tertiary because these two tend to be covering the least amount of surface area on your warframe. So really bright colors look bigger, so you're going to put them on areas of your frame that have less surface area being covered. And then for all your light and dark colors, like the other in-between stuff, your whites, your blacks, or just any other color you want to use, that would normally for primary and secondary colors. And now we got a decent looking frame here. Whether you like it or not, whether it's your style or not, that's how you go about just following those kind of tips is how you really go about coloring a frame. Hopefully you guys got something out of this. If you did, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on. I'm live every single day on Twitch, and you guys can earn Warframes, weapons, and mods here absolutely free. Ask me about that when you come down and I'll explain it in more detail. But for now, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. And if I don't see you in the next one, I will see you guys on my Twitch channel. Laters.